Good day folks, I want to do a quick video on product market fit. Product market fit is this really important concept in product management because if we don't have product market fit, we shouldn't try to scale a product or a company. So it allows us to determine what activities a business really needs to focus on right now. And I also find that product market fit is sometimes a little bit poorly defined in terms of how we can quantify it. I think the typical definitions are that you just feel when you have product market fit, and you feel if you don't. And if you have product market fit, customers just keep wanting your product. And I think I prefer something that is a little bit more of a compass that allows me to, in an organization, measure on an ongoing basis whether we have product market fit or not, and whether we are improving product market fit or not. And so I created a little framework that allows me to do that. It's the EBE Metrics. And there's three pillars to this framework. The first one is emotion. We want to quantify whether the customers feel that our product is better than the alternatives, because customers don't buy products or services. They buy getting a job done better, faster, or cheaper. Now, and ultimately, while we can make all sorts of rational reasons, we're still very emotional human beings. So it's really important to understand the emotions. The second part is the behavior. Do customers actually change their habits and their actions towards using this product? And so obviously if they don't, then we've got a problem and we might not make a lot of money out of them at some stage. Now, the last part is the economics. So this is really within the marketplace, is the money you're spending and the money you're making really working out for you in the long term? So how do you quantify each of these things? Emotion is actually pretty simple, and the founders at Superhuman have created a great article on this. Essentially, you can ask them a question and see how they respond. And the question is, how would you feel if you could no longer use this product? And the choices are, well, I'm no longer using it already, or I wouldn't be disappointed, or somewhat disappointed, so there's something in it, or they say, actually, I would be very disappointed. And if people are very disappointed and they essentially are telling you that their life would be worse without your product, that's when you've got something. So the Superhuman article says that actually you want this to be about 40% or better in terms of customers saying that they would be very disappointed if they could no longer use your product. Now, behavior. So ultimately you want your customers' habits to change, and that means you want them to keep using your product as often as possible. And what we can do there is look at a retention curve. And so look at the percentage of users that keep using our product over time, whether that's 1 day or 30 days, 180 days or months, doesn't really matter here. But the point is, if your retention curve looks something like this, as in it trends towards zero after a certain amount of time, it means customers don't really come back to your product, so there's a problem with it. If you can make it look like this, where it flattens off, that's when people have changed their habits and when they keep using it. So this can be, these two can almost be a leading indicator of product market fit. And that's of course a lot better than lagging indicators and finding out years later whether you have product market fit or not, or whether you lost it. So this retention curve, we can actually do a lot of things in product management to keep driving this up, and often that's one of our most important tasks. Now, the last pillar is economics. So this really means your customer acquisition cost, the money you're spending, compared to the customer lifetime value, so the money you make from a customer as long as they stay with you. And so you want this to be in a ratio of about 1 to 3 or better. So for every $1 you spend, you want to make $3. Right? That allows you to reinvest in growth or be profitable and sort of have a decent margin that allows you to fend off competitors. And so all these things you can measure, and you want to keep measuring them over time, because any business can lose product market fit. Many of the newspaper companies found that out the hard way, and other companies on a daily basis. And here's the challenge that every product is facing. If it stays the same, customer expectations, they keep increasing, and competitors can catch up. And there's a really great article by Eugene that talks about invisible asymptotes, and it sort of visualizes one of the concepts that Jeff Bezos talked about, with customers always being divinely discontent. We constantly see new products and new approaches in the marketplace, and especially the innovators and early adopters and the champions of products, their expectations, they keep increasing over time. So if this is sort of the perfect user experience that you can build right now in terms of what's possible from a technical perspective, etc., then you want your product and your user experience to constantly keep playing catch up with this. You can never quite get it. So a product is always just an approximation of sort of the perfect user experience. But you need to keep investing in the product and keep going after it. Because if you sort of like make a product, if you just maintain it and it stays the same over a longer period of time, it means the user experience stays stable, and customer expectations keep increasing. So that then opens space for a new competitor to pop up and to gain market share. Now, that's why I try to measure these things in products over a period of time and continuously, and see whether we're moving in the right direction or whether things are not going well. And often we can find out, for example, from measuring people's emotions and looking at their behavior, we can figure out much earlier whether there's a problem in the business or not, even if revenue and customer lifetime value on the customers who are staying is increasing, because we might not be meeting their expectations anymore and we need to rethink the business. That's then the area of real innovation and corporate innovation for some of the larger organizations. Thank you for watching. That's how I quantify product market fit. I'm keen to hear your best practices and whether you agree with the EBE Metrics or not. Thank you very much.